let's do some tricky bracket expansions here. So we've got a set of brackets. We've got x plus 3 in brackets times x plus 5 also in brackets minus x plus 1 times x plus 1 all in brackets. This is a little bit trickier. We've got two FOIL problems in one. The first FOIL problem is here and the second FOIL problem is here. But a really critical thing, we've got a minus sign here. So that means we're going to have to put an even bigger set of brackets around this second FOIL example, because a bit later on, we're going to multiply the whole thing by an invisible -1. So we'll get to that. Let's FOIL the first set of brackets. So x times x will give us x squared, x times positive 5 plus 5x, positive 3 times x plus 3x, and then positive 3 times positive 5 is plus 15. Now we're going to do a minus, and we're going to put a big set of brackets around our second FOIL example. The reason is we've got that invisible -1 to multiply it all by very soon. Now we're just going to FOIL. X times x, x squared, that's our first. Outside, x times 1 plus x. Second, inside 1 times x, we've got plus x again. And last, 1 times positive 1 plus 1. Now, before we start worrying about anything else, let's clean this up a little bit. I notice we've got some like terms in here. We've also got a couple of like terms inside of that big set of brackets. So that will become x squared plus 8x plus 15. And then we're going to have minus and our big set of brackets. I like square brackets, I think they look neat. And we're going to have x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now this is where this gets interesting. We've got this -1 here, this invisible -1. And that needs to multiply with this x squared, with this 2x, and with this positive 1. The first, x squared plus 8x plus 15, is just going to hang out and wait for the rest of the expression to be ready. So, -1 times x squared is just going to give us minus x squared. Remember, multiplying by -1 just changes the sign. Then we need to do that -1 times positive 2x. That's this arrow here. So -1 times positive 2x is going to be minus 2x. And then finally, we're going to do this -1 times that plus 1, so it becomes -1. Brackets were critical here, because otherwise that -1 would only look like it was attached to the x squared, and we wouldn't have had these beautiful negatives at the end here. So now that we're nearly at the end of our problem, let's just observe again. Do we have any like terms? It appears we do. We've got an x squared and a minus x squared. So they're going to go away, because x squared take away x squared is 0. In another colour, let's look at our x terms. We've got an 8x minus 2x, so that's going to become 6x. And our final thing that we've got here, we've got a plus 15 minus 1, so that's going to be plus 14. Awesome. Another tricky question, they're trying to trick us here. We have in this first one, x plus 3 all squared. Well, we know what that actually means is x plus 3 times itself. So that is a hidden FOIL question, or a FOIL question in disguise. And then we've got minus x minus 2 in brackets x plus 1. Because of that negative sign here and that invisible -1, we're going to put our entire second FOIL in brackets to make sure that that entire thing is multiplied by that invisible -1 we mentioned. So we're going to go ahead and FOIL just like we normally would. First, outside, inside, and last, let's put in that minus invisible 1, minus invisible negative 1, I should say, and we're going to FOIL the next question. Sorry, next set of brackets. First, outside, inside, and last. Now, let's simplify things before we keep going. I notice that in the first set we've got here 2 lovely like terms, so that will become x squared plus 6x plus 9. Let's keep that minus and that invisible 1 and our brackets, and we're going to clean up these 2 like terms. So inside of here that will become x squared. If we've got plus x minus 2x, that'll be minus x minus 2. Now, this first lot, x squared plus 6x plus 9, is just going to hang out, and we're going to have that invisible negative 1 multiply with everything in the second bracket. So negative 1 times x squared will be minus x squared. Negative 1 times negative x will be plus x. Negative 1 times negative 2 will be plus 2. So what negative 1 did is it changed the sign of everything inside of this bracket. Again, brackets were critical here. We're nearly at the end. Let's now look for some like terms. So, I notice again we've got an x squared minus x squared. So that means these are just going to go away. We've got plus 6x plus x. So that's going to be 7x. And then finally, we've got plus 9 plus 2, so plus 11.